Adam, Nicholas Brewer said they would consider granting training exemptions. Will you apply for one, or have you applied for one?
Yeah, look, we haven't applied for one, and really we need to work through the decision that was made yesterday. We're trying to come to terms with what that would mean for us, and we don't even have an announcement yet around return to play, return to training. So there's a lot of unknown, and we'll work through it. But obviously we'll make the best decisions to get ready for the season when it does recommence. So we'll consider it at that time.
So it sounds like conceivably you're not able to train. If you aren't able to train physically in a larger group, you'll be forced to move interstate earlier than first thought?
Yeah, I think the priority goes back to the people at the club, and so then you're going to balance a decision between leaving early. If that was to eventuate and we couldn't have contact training here in South Australia, you're balancing a performance decision to get interstate early so that you can train in preparation for the season versus one where we would all like to have remained in South Australia for a bit longer.
So as it stands now, you can't train physically until the 8th. Is an exemption on the cards for you then, an application for that?
We haven't considered it, to be honest. We're really trying to get our head around the possibility or the reality that we're going to be moving interstate for a recommencement of the season, so we need to work through that. That's our priority.
Any locations that you've identified as where you'd like to move from interstate?
Yeah, look, we're just going to take the guidance of the AFL. They obviously put a lot of work into the hub models, so there's a lot of preparation that's gone into that. We'll take their guidance, whatever's going to work for us and the industry for a recommencement, and we'll be leaded by the AFL and the work that they've already done.
If you're sort of Queensland, do you have a preference for where you guys would be based?
Again, look, I think the work that's been done by the AFL, they'll present us with the options, and then we'll make the right decisions around that. But we're also cognizant that there's a lot that goes into a recommencement of the season, and from a fixturing point of view, does it work better for the industry if we're in a particular state? So we'll take their guidance, and to the credit of the AFL, they work through all the contingencies. They've done that work. It's for us now to rely on their advice and the options that they present.
Have you been given any guidance yet? Is there anything on the table for you guys as far as the location?
Yeah, no, we've got together today and put together a whole list of questions that we've put forward to the AFL, which we'd like to have answered, and they'll get answered in due course. Obviously, things are going to move really quickly now, but we'll expect an answer to those questions we put forward.
Given you have 25 players from Victoria, would it work actually going to Victoria and then they might be able to stay with families, so to protect their, I guess it might protect their mental health?
Yeah, certainly one of the questions we've put forward is around movement in the community, and can you if we are in some form of hub, can you exit the hub? Can you see people from the outside? Can people from the outside come in? And we just don't have the answers to that. So.
Are these things that should have been answered by now? Hubs have been on the table for 2 months. How do we not know whether families would be accepted or where you might be going?
I think things are very different to what they were a few months ago. They change rapidly, and we need to be flexible and agile. And it was only probably 48 hours ago that we were thinking we probably wouldn't be in a hub. So questions that we need to have answered.
So families are clearly on the agenda for the sake of the players. That's something that needs to be ticked up again by the AFL. If you go to, say, Brisbane for 3 weeks of training and 4 weeks of games, that's something you need.
Yeah, critical question for us is to understand whether we can have families inside of the hubs or whether they can visit and then leave. And these are all the questions we're putting forward. They're priorities, and as you'd expect them to be, because people are wanting access to their loved ones.
Practically, do you think you could be forced into making a call on this sort of stuff, given that interstate clubs can start doing their full training next week? Actively, do you anticipate the club will have to be forced into making their call?
Yeah, I think it'd be driven by the decisions that the AFL make about return to training dates and return to play dates. So, we're very much in the hands of the AFL. They're running a national competition with the complexities of local state borders, and we fully appreciate it's a really difficult task that they've been dealing with over months now. They've done outstandingly well to this point. We'll be guided by them.
Logistically, do you think that it's something that can be turned around in a week, or does it need multiple weeks for the club to go, okay, we've got to move everyone to a certain spot?
One thing I've been really proud of, or we as a club are really proud of, is the way in which our people have approached this period through the training suspension. And we were asked early days from an industry to be flexible and agile, and I've been really proud of the way in which we've approached it. So I've got no doubt whatever is put before us we'll be able to deal with.
You can't put a time on it.
No.
What's the most pressing question? What's the first, the next, or the third, you said you had a list of questions. What's the first one that you need answered to take a step forward on this? The training?
Yeah, sorry.
Is it the return to training protocols or?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of things, a lot of information that's coming through on a fairly regular basis now. So I guess return to play and everything works back from there. So, how long do we need to prepare for the season? How long would we need in a hub to adequately prepare for the season? So really return to play becomes probably the number one thing we need to know, and we work back from there.
Do you feel a bit led on by, I guess, Premier Stephen Marshall, considering the public comments he made where he indicated that you and Porky would get that exemption to have a fly back in the season?
We don't feel led on at all. The priority for the state government is to protect the health and safety of the community of South Australia. So, we understand that that's a job that they've done outstandingly well to this point. I think we can all be really proud of the way in which the South Australian community has looked after each other by ensuring that the disease hasn't spread. So, we're not let down at all.
Adam, are you prepared to let your guys train here until the 8 in groups of 10 without physical contact?
Yeah, I think that's something we need to consider. Like, I guess the least amount of time we can spend away from our families, our loved ones, is preferable, but there's a performance element to that, and the reality is that if we can't get contact training before leaving South Australia, it may first force an earlier decision to move interstate.
Chris Davies said that what happened in the Barossa may not have helped things. Do you have any response to that?
I think the question was put to the Chief Health Officer this morning on a number of radio stations, and her response was pretty clear that certainly didn't have anything to do with the decisions that have been made by government. And, as has been, the government have just done an outstanding job of protecting the community in South Australia. That's their objective. They've done it exceptionally well, and I don't think there's any link there.
The WA Premier said the borders are open. He spoke a while ago, for safeguards, that kind of thing. I mean, would that be something you'd consider if you could go over there to train in some kind of hub or to get that contact training going?
Yeah, I don't think Western Australia presents as an option. We could be doing that in, whether we went in a hub in Queensland or one in Victoria. I think coming back to contact training would be somewhat similar to the same time that Victorian clubs or the Queensland-based clubs would be able to get back to contact training as well.
A little frustrated to be behind the 8 ball there. WA Premier has allowed their clubs to train with physical contact earlier than in South Australia. Are we a little bit behind?
I don't think we can pretend that everything that's happening and will happen from here on in is equal for all. And there are compromises that are a result of different state regulations around the health and safety of their communities, and we just have to accept it. It is what it is, and we just need to get on with business.
So would you not feel aggrieved then if you all stayed here on Monday and there were blokes in Victoria training in full groups and you guys were stuck in 10?
We can't be aggrieved because each government are making decisions in the best interest of the health and safety of their community. So we can't be aggrieved. There's a lot of people affected by what's happening, and we're in a fortunate position where we're getting ready, hopefully, for a return to play, and that's what we're looking forward to. So we're not grieved at all.
So as far as the fairness, which comes up a lot in the AFL, that's not a concern for you as much from the football club's point of view?
Now, it's understandable in the season that we're in that there'll be compromises, and we accept it, and we know it's not going to be the same for all. We'll deal with it. We're looking forward to a recommencement of the season, and I'm sure our people will deal with it appropriately.
How have the players reacted to this?
Probably surprised. I guess we didn't think this would eventuate, but the attitude of the players right throughout has been outstanding. We've got great leaders amongst our player group. They're a resilient group, and they're really looking forward to footy coming back. So they've handled it exceptionally well.
Have any said, I feel uncomfortable, or I want to go into this hub that you have to go into
Yeah, look, overriding everything, that they understand that this season was going to be, there was going to present some challenges, and we knew early on that being flexible, agile, being able to adapt to the situation as it presents itself was going to be critical. To that end, it's been terrific, the way in which our people have approached it. Are they uncomfortable? Absolutely. When you're in a situation where you're potentially moving away from your loved ones, well, I think most people would be uncomfortable. That's just understandable. It conflicts with their responsibilities as parents, as partners, but it's something that we'll deal with and we'll work through.
None have said we're not going though.
No.
At what stage does the season become completely compromised? Does it reach a point where you just think this doesn't resemble a genuine AFL season?
No. Well, I think, as I've said, there is compromise in the season. Let's not pretend there's not. There's different conditions across the country, but you just deal with it. It's what the industry needs. It's what we as clubs need to deal with to get the season back underway.
So the premiership stacks up with premiership last year and the year before.
Absolutely. Like, it is. This season's presenting some real challenges, and I'm sure whoever the premier is this year, I'm positive that they'll deserve to hold up the Premiership Cup, because it's going to be a fair few twists and turns as we get to the end of the season.
Any fixture preferences, Adam? Have you lodged any fixture preferences with the AFL?
No.
Like, rather play sort of a Brisbane, Sydney up there, or nothing?
Yeah, I think that the way in which they position the clubs, particularly the West Australian and South Australian clubs, I think would dictate where the fixture might go. I don't know that, but you would think logically that might help with their decision making.
Have the AFL given you any deadlines to provide them with information requests of their preferences?
No, other than to say things are moving rapidly. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's in hours or days, but I know that we'll have to deal with those things really quickly.
Logistically, Adam, how quickly could you effectively move your footy club into a days or weeks or?
Yeah, look, I think we need days. Our people are getting used to dealing with the twists and turns that are being presented before us, so we probably only need days really to be able to move.
Can I just ask your initial reaction last night, given I presume you, like the rest of us, thought we might be getting fly in, fly out before? What was your initial reaction when you saw that letter and you saw everything that you've been working to a little bit was going to change?
Probably a little bit conditioned at the moment to know that things change quickly. So it was just another challenge that presents itself, and you deal with the facts that are in front of you, and you inform your people as quickly as possible, which we did last night, so that they can start to process, have your discussions with your own family, and wake up the next day and meet the next challenge.